Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Samas, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Who are all these random people talking to John Silk is what I always wonder at this video. But yeah, anyway, we are, of course, here to discuss the ATP events of the last week with Mario once again. Tuesday, very unusual date for the ATP Weekly, but we are going to, I think, just dive straight into the action. Marin Cilic, history maker. I mean, yeah, how insane is this that Marin Cilic was able to capture this title?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I was kind of thinking of how, kind of opposite the stories are for these two champions, more or less. And so, we kind of have both sides, to talk about also a player's career. And yeah, Cilic, unbelievable, because, yeah, it was for sure a great, there was a great question mark around him if he could have kept going and playing. We know it's been very difficult. He had already tried to come back, but it didn't work. He had to have surgery, and yeah, it's unbelievable. This was his fifth tournament, ATP tournament. I mean, tour level tournament over the past 2 years, and winning a title, playing also very good tennis. He improved as as the week went on. Match by match, he raised his level. He also saved 2 match points against Uchiyama. It was a very, very difficult match, probably the turning point of the week, where escaping that challenge and managing to win that match, and then it's been only upwards since then. And yeah, unbelievable. We see on the screen the lowest ranked ATP Tour title winner ever. It's crazy, of course, it's a list of great players, and especially Cilic, who is a Grand Slam champion. Of course, also Hewitt and all the players are very good here in the picture, because it's of course like that. If you're able to win an ATP Tour title in this way, it's because you have unbelievable qualities. You are a great player, and yeah, Cilic showed once again why he's had the great career he's had, and especially he showed that he can still have something to say in tennis, which was the biggest question mark around him over the past couple of years. And yeah, we don't know at which level, but still, winning a 250 title is no joke, especially for a player in his situation. And hopefully right now we can be a little more confident in him being able to have a little bit more of success on the top level of tennis.
Yeah, I will keep saying this. I mean, at the beginning of the year, there were also some shades of really good level. I know they didn't last long. The knee gave in like very quickly, but the match against Struff, up until wasting these 9 match points, he was unbelievable for a set and a half. And yeah, it was just pretty clear, even when he played Mallorca and Cassis recently, which I know that some people were like very, very negative about that one as well. That basically in Cassis, he loses to Soriano Barrera. Like, if he's losing to Soriano Barrera, why, he's not going to do anything now. But I think you could just see that, it's just a question of much sharpness. Like, he is literally has just slightly better rhythm of the ground, and he's going to beat him. And well, I mean, still, I didn't think that he was going to do this, but it was pretty clear that his game is quite, like, mostly intact. Of course, he will be half a step slow to the ball. Sure. I mean, at 35, almost 36, that's normal. But yeah, it was clear that the game is there. I just didn't think he was going to be able to win the title right away, obviously.
Yeah.
Where is he ranked now? He jumped like 500 spots, 200 something, Michael. And especially that to win this after the Uchiyama match, that was a long thriller. He was not really perfect there. And I just didn't think that he still had 2 more matches left in him. And right now I'm just thinking, well, I mean, he gets like 2 days off and he plays Nishikori. He's the favorite to me in Beijing over Nishikori. I'm not saying the favorite to like go deep, but the expectations are going to be pretty high now. If Marin gets like 2 more years healthy, that would be fabulous, of course. Indeed, it's a very interesting list on the screen. I feel like the most comparable to him would be Andujar. Like, he still wasn't as old as Cilic is right now, but like Hewitt, Fenia Gonzalez, of course, they were just like kids when they won these events. Especially Hewitt, I think he was like 16. And Tommy Haas, I mean, he was just returning from injuries half his career, so it also makes sense. But of course, at the time, he was much younger than Marin is right now. And would have been great for Chinese tennis if Shang and Zhang won today. I mean, yeah, obviously it's still an amazing week for Chinese tennis, but Marin Cilic kind of spoiled the party. He was much better in both tiebreaks, I guess. Well, it is what it is. Is he ranked higher than Nadal, Michael? I would have to check that, honestly. I think he is, just slightly, but let me double check. Oh no, actually, Nadal is 154 now. Oh, okay, never mind. Then definitely Nadal is higher. Yeah, I remembered Cilic is 210 in the live rankings. So yeah, I remembered Nadal being like 200 something, but I guess that was before Bostad, right? He was 261 when he reached the final in Bostad. So yeah, Nadal is 60 spots higher. He can be like Goran at Wimbledon or Serena at Australian Open. That's kind of honestly the big thing for me here is how durable is Cilic going to be in best of 5?
Yeah.
Because one of our regular chatters, Ozan Kabak, yes, he played center back or whatever his name is. He asked me this on Twitter, actually, like, where do I think Cilic can go ranking wise? And he suggested like top 50 ? Top 20 ? And what I told him was like, top 50 seems very doable to me if he gets 2 more healthy years. But top 20 maybe would be mostly depending on this. Like, yeah, how durable is he going to be in best of 5? Is it still possible at this stage of his career to make a big slam run? Because if we remember, like recently, guys like Wawrinka, Murray, like they had their moments on the tour at this sort of age, but getting a deep slam run was like out of their range. Maybe Murray is not a good comparison because it's a very different play style. Maybe Stan is better. But again, Stan couldn't really produce anything at a slam at this age, right? Like, he was just done in best of 5 play, even though in the past it was something that really suited him. So that's kind of my worry. Like, how is Cilic going to look in best of 5? But yeah, top 50 to me is very, 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 very realistic.
Yeah, I would say between the two, maybe Murray had the biggest Grand Slam moments over the past season, at least in terms of a couple of epic wins. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, but I mean, it still wasn't something that could get him a run, right? I mean,
no.
I think you mean Australia, but yeah. I mean, point-wise, it's still not.
Yeah,
it still wasn't anything
moment.
Huge, right?
It was one moment, and then I would also add, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but also a little bit of a question mark on even best of 3 format, but going week after week, playing tournaments, how, he's going to react if, of course, he will be injury free. And so, yeah, there are, of course, all this question mark that we don't know if they got a real answer in this week. This week we had a good answer on his level, on how we can potentially play and how we can realistically play in some tournaments if he's okay physically. I'm interested to watch if he can, I don't know, produce even some, 3-week runs, not meaning that he has to win 3 titles in a row, of course, but getting some few wins in a row here and there, 2 wins in this tournament, 3 in this one, and let's see, because of course the ranking will depend a lot on that, of course. And yeah, let's see if this will be kind of Murray Antwerp 2019 moment or something better. But I'm pretty confident. I see him playing well. He seems okay physically. Of course, anything can happen, especially at this age. But yeah, I am pretty confident after this week. So let's see if he can produce something, this stage of the season, and then we'll see how things will be at the beginning of the next one. But yeah, talking about the level, he's an incredibly dangerous player. He serves incredibly well. His ground stroke are still looking very fine. He's not at his prime, of course, so we'll maybe not see, of course, Marin Cilic that we got to see in, I don't know, 2018, 2017, 14, and it's normal, but it's for sure a great addition to the tour to see a player like him still be able to produce some runs, win a title like this, and let's see if he can take another step forward. But I also believe top 50 can be realistic if, of course, he is injury free.
Yeah, Marcos Giron shade from Razy in the chat. Yeah, I mean, Matthew also is comparing Cilic to Nishikori. They're going to play now, which is pretty fantastic. But yeah, it seems like Marin is clearly like a bit ahead now in that, well, Kei, the way he played in Chengdu, he was just like grabbing his leg, then he needs something with his shoulder. Yeah, it seems a lot more stop-start. I do have a lot more belief in that Cilic comeback, but of course, I mean, I know it's kind of like a time clock or whatever. Like his time is limited. He will know it. We know it. So of course, I'm not thinking about like I don't know, a Grand Slam final from here or something like that. A Grand Slam semi, like he's done at every major. Like I don't think that's in his future, but yeah, being a very regular threat on the tour, if he stays healthy for a year or two, I think that's still very much there. As yeah, I think that Cilic, I mean, he's never played Laver Cup, right? So it must be on his mind. And yeah, the finals in Hangzhou was Zhang, and a part of me is just so glad that Cilic won this. But a part of me also wanted Zhang to win, because I wrote this article like 2 years ago that was like, who is going to be the first Chinese player to break the top 100? Of course, they've all done it since, the three main candidates. But what would have been really fun today if all of them now had an ATP Tour title as well. And I was going to repost it, and I was like, yeah, that's good. I mean, Zhang, Wu. But yeah, Zhang didn't do it. I mean, still a fantastic week for him, obviously, at home. He had that knee injury against Draper as well. And I guess after the opening round, we were still unsure. But from there, he was just like, bulldozing through his opponents, as we know he can. And yeah, I just think it was really something that was in the making for a while, an ATP Tour final for him, like with the sort of peak game that he has. Yeah, Cilic played Laver Cup in 2017, really?
Probably. It's a verdict for sure. I don't remember if Cilic too, but probably, since we
Oh yeah. He did. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I mean, it makes sense ranking wise. There was not that much competition this year with Murray and Djokovic out. Of course, Cilic was still very much in the top 10. But yeah, I completely forgot about that. I guess he wasn't a big story there. I mean, he beat Tiafoe in the very first match and then played one doubles on the third day. They weren't really using him all that much. But yeah, indeed, Marin Cilic played Laver Cup in 2017.
Yeah, talking about Zhang, it would have kind of been deserved for sure. Let's say that regardless of what we can expect from the future, also talking about Shang, but in the recent past, he's been the most consistent presence, also inside the top 50. He's got some very good wins and runs in tournaments, of course, also started, kind of as a breakthrough at the very top level with the Madrid Master last year, but then again, he produced some very good matches and wins many times after that. Indeed, he's a stable presence into the top 50 right now, and so yeah, for sure, it's it still felt, of course, as a big chance for him, because yeah, of course, we talked about Cilic still be a great player, but it was a match that, as the score also suggests, could have be won. On paper, it was of course possible to Zhang also to win this match, but yes, still encouraging performance. We'll see how if he can perform still well in this upcoming tournaments in China, even if of course it will be more difficult for him to imagine about winning the title. But yeah, he is one of these guys. There are a few among his ranking that have really grown, have established themselves in that position, being factors on the main tour, also being dangerous opponents for also some of the top 20 players, for example, if they have to face him, and some other, but they still haven't collected a title. And let's just hope that it happens for him, because of course, we got to see that he clearly has the level to win a tournament like this. And he's been very close this time. And yeah, let's just see. Of course, he would be the third now Chinese player to win a title in this kind of race, because they are all kind of breaking new grounds, for Chinese tennis. But yeah, this I mean, of course, I don't think it's that big of a competition. He should won his title for his own, of course, also. And yeah, I tend to believe he will sooner or later. I hope for him, because the level is there to try to win a title.
Yeah, as I've said many times, like both striking wise, Triple Z is just as good as basically anybody on the tour. But yeah, today the tie breaks, he just played them a bit better, and that's kind of all the story. Maybe there was also that moment 5-4 in the second where he could have done a bit better with the 30 love lead that he had. But yeah, indeed, I think that in that article I had, that I reread it today. And basically, I said something like his main advantage over Wu and Shang is that like he's very different physically, and he doesn't get injured a lot, which has definitely helped him too. Like he has the ability to kind of just go up and down throughout the year, have enough peaks to still stick around. And yeah, great. Of course, he's the highest ranked Chinese player in history by now. 2 years ago, they didn't have anyone in the top 100. No male player from China had ever cracked it. And now this week, we actually got a fourth one, Buyun Chaokete, who made the semifinals here. Everyone is learning about him now. Everyone is writing his name, cramped, Buyun Chaokete, finally, because he's, in case someone doesn't know, he's like ethnic Mongolian, and they don't have first names or second names there, or last names. They just have one name, literally, Buyun Chaokete. But of course, everyone calls him Bu, or like Bert, I think is also his nickname. But for technical reasons on the scoreboards and everything, it's still going to be displayed as Bu, pause, Buyun Chaokete, if you may. But yeah, we definitely have to talk about him breaking the top 100, the fourth player from China to do it. They won't have four, at least for now, at the same time, because Ibinku, of course, is still very much in the trenches with his injuries. But Buyun Chaokete gets there as the fourth player from China, third right now. So it's pretty insane, actually, that they will have three. ATP also did this pretty weird, that they like announced the new rankings on Monday, kind of midweek. But that means he's already in the top 100. We don't have to wait for it for next Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever.
Yeah. And no, absolutely. Also, this thing that, of course, two finals for Chinese tennis, on tour level final in the same week, when they had only one. Of course, before this week, of course, the title that Yibing won in Dallas. But yeah, absolutely, it's unbelievable also to see them doing well at home, using their chances to break new grounds, to establish themselves at in the top 100, or even further. It's great. And also, Bu, it's been also a funny story to see a lot more people trying to pronounce his name, that I'm very, very bad at it, I have to admit. But also because I didn't practice too much. But yeah,
I honestly don't know how it's pronounced. Like I'm just saying it the way I've been saying it for years. I don't know.
And I'm kind of scared. but yeah, it's it's been a fantastic week for Chinese tennis. And of course, it's what it happens when you manage to have events in your country, and of course challenger events, but also ATP 250s like these ones. And you have players who can have the opportunity to play at home. And it's not, of course, the case for the two players who reached the finals, because they were already at that level that they would have been able to play this tournament in any other country in the world. but still, it gives you a big opportunity also to shine and for these players to play. Also, I want to underline the importance for a lot of regions of the world to have this access to tennis and to host events. And China is doing really well right now. I mean, it kind of have done it for years now, but of course now they are really watching this generation of players that it's very fun to watch also. And let's see if they can make another kind of quality jump and establish themselves as one of the biggest nations in tennis. Let's see if this will happen. Of course, it's not easy. It's kind of a long process, but I believe that China has the chances as a country to try to make this step. And let's see if it's going to happen. But yeah, I would like it also because this tournament in China, they have good fans. At times it's always it's a fun part of the season for me, I have to admit. I like tennis going there. It's kind of different atmosphere than one we are used to see. And yeah, I like it, and I wish that we can spread it even more in other parts of the world. Of course, I know it's not easy because there are a lot of economic thing to sort out.
Yeah, I think Bu might be like, out of these four players, might kind of be the biggest success stories for.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm about to talk about this, Matthew, because Bu might be about one of the biggest success stories for like actually the Chinese system, because like Yuncheng Shang, from the age of 14, he was working in the States. Even Wu, pretty much the same. Zhizhen Zhang, I mean, he's been with the Lubicic Academy for years as well. Like, yeah, just a lot of basically like they were good enough that they started basically training in other countries. Whereas Bu seems to be more of a product of the Chinese system. And also, yeah, just incredible progress this year. In 2020, like he had a 2-year hiatus because of the pandemic. He came back, he won like 59 matches in a half a season on the ITF Tour. But still, when he got to challengers, he just had a very bland game to me. And that's, of course, not true anymore. I mean, the serve and forehand, they've really been turned into like incredible weapons. He's still steady, like he was there, but also like such a beast physically, just is able to overwhelm players like that too. And yeah, I don't think he's as naturally gifted, definitely not as Zhang, Shang, and Wu. Maybe especially as Shang and Wu. Zhang is also definitely like more of a trained player rather than naturally gifted, I would say. But still, I mean, he gets to the top 100. He isn't defending much for the next half a year, more or less. So he will have plenty of chances here. And yes, Matthew, Jerry Shang was picked up by IMG when he was like 14. And what else? I wanted to say one more thing about Bu Choketa, but I now forgot. So probably we will just move on to Yuncheng Shang then. I wanted to call one more thing. Calling it now, Yizhu, the 5th player from China to break the top 100.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's write this name down. We'll check it later.
Thankfully, we have it on the screen already. So in case anyone is, my pronunciation was so horrible that someone didn't understand. Thankfully, you have it on the screen. But yeah, let's talk about Jerry Shang now, I think. The Chengdu champion. First player born in 2005 or later to win the title, to win an ATP Tour title. Menchik had a chance in Doha, but Jerry is their first. Of course, former junior world number one. Like he pretty much smashed through that circuit, despite only being a Grand Slam runner-up only. And yeah, since then, I mean, ever since he figured out the fitness issues, seems like he's there to stay.
No, yeah, absolutely. And you were pointing how he went to Florida to train in the EMG Academy, and of course that's also the main reason why we have seen him also in Miami at the very, 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 very beginning. But yeah, he was very promising. You could have seen his qualities. It's also an interesting brand of tennis because I feel like it's very contemporary, even if he doesn't have kind of, of course, it's not like 2 meters tall. So that kind of game all based on, this big first serves and everything. But he still is kind of a very modern, contemporary brand of tennis, and it's fun to watch. And he also comes from a family of people who managed to have success in the sport, so he's joining kind of a family
table
tradition.
tennis and football, right?
Yeah, football, exactly.
Table tennis,
And
the mother on table tennis.
yeah,
I think she
table
was
tennis.
like
I
a
think she was the
world
world
championship
champion in mixed
medalist.
doubles.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
the father was a successful footballer. I think he played like for the Chinese team a few times. Anyway, yeah,
and
go ahead.
no, yeah, absolutely. I've also been very impressed by how we managed to be in a final today, playing against Lorenzo, who is a player, of course, with more experience. Even if not that much, but still he's played these kind of matches. He's also a very informed player. Today didn't really show it. Even if in the first set, I have to say, I've been kind of impressed by how Shang has been hanging out there, because right before 5-game solve, I thought like Lorenzo could have taken lead when he had that love 30 on 4-3. He started playing a little bit steady, and he's been very, very good after he got broken back on, didn't serve out the first set. He played a very, very good tiebreak, and then Lorenzo has kind of become a little bit too passive in the second set. But Shang has been very, very good in taking every inch that Musetti has let him, and yeah, he just showed how good it is in also staying inside the baseline and playing this kind of fast baseline game. And yeah, I really hope we can see him keep growing, but I'm pretty sure that we'll see something good from him.
Yeah, I will once again kind of quote that article I wrote 2 years ago, but I was reading
For
it
sure,
today,
you have to.
and I basically said there that like while Shang, of course, is not really powerless, despite the physicality, like he actually can unleash on a ball, but he wasn't really like back then. He wasn't constructing the points with that power. Like it was only either looping or just completely going at it and going for that winner. I still remember, honestly, some of the points that he played against Daniel Rinko in that US Open final. Like, even though he lost that, I remember just being, amazed with what the guy was playing there, even though he lost it. And yeah, right now, I mean, he's fixed a lot of these issues. Definitely the... Yes, Sean. I actually might have said that. That's true. I think you're right. I think I did say it. So, well, a fail for us there, I guess, but not too much content in the last 2 weeks. But anyway, what I was going to say is that, especially this week, I feel on the clunky courts in Chengdu, like they're very weird. It's like fast hard court, but also 500-meter altitude. And you can see, especially maybe in the opening matches of the week, that the players weren't controlling it too well. Obviously, some runs from like the usual altitude specialists like Yannick Hanfmann. And then you get Shang on it. And maybe his game doesn't really suit it all that much, but he does well to adapt. Like he's serving all week was incredible. He was playing even more aggressively than usual. And yeah, this title to me is a real sign of maturity. Obviously, but this time last year, I think in the Asian swing, he didn't even win a match because every single time he was getting into the third set against Maki, against someone else as well, I don't remember, but he was getting into the third sets and he was just dying there. Like literally impossible for him to keep going. And of course, that's pretty much, well, I can't say figured out.
Yeah, last year, Nishioka, Watanuki.
Nishioka I was thinking about as well. McDonald for sure, right?
He retired in Challenger Guangzhou against Yasika too.
Jessica, that was like a semi. That was like a semi, right?
5 love. So I don't remember if that was probably a fall or something because it's kind of weird.
Against Jessica, no, it wasn't a fall. No,
okay,
he was
okay,
just
okay.
like really, yeah,
Okay.
he was just like really fatigued or something. Yeah.
No, it's just because I saw the 6-3-5 love. Now checking.
No, I totally get that. I just remember the match, but I would have also thought that there was something more. But yeah, Jerry definitely had his issues last year around this time of the year, so this is also a good sort of show off that. Well, I mean, at least partially, he has figured this out.
Yeah, and I also would add that I've read today an interview that his coach released at the Australian Open, and because he was about to face Carlos, so there was kind of a tension. around him. And yeah, talking about this fact of being more aggressive, it was really something that um, they were working on. And I remember reading that his coach basically told that one of his biggest qualities is that he learns and understand the game really well. So he kind of fast in applying some changes and some adjustments, and this of course going to help him also in the future. So yeah, let's see. Now of course in China tension will grow even more, because of course getting a title in China is pretty big thing. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, regardless of this Chinese win is already being kind of a success for him, because getting away from it with a title. But yeah, now let's see what he can do also in the next tournament, because who knows, maybe confidence he can bring in can help him, and maybe we'll see something very good.
Yeah, very soon should be also one of the, should be the second Chinese player to break the top 50. Of course, Zhang has already done that. Yibing Wu was just behind Shang, now 55th this rankings, but even this title doesn't get him in there. But yeah, it would be like, just one more good result. And yeah, the expectations will definitely skyrocket right now. I think someone said it's like 20 minutes ago in the chat that after this, the casuals will just like I'll be very aware of him and will be expecting huge things. And well, they might get them. He's definitely talented enough for that. Who else was like a big story in Chengdu? Actually, I feel like it was kind of Juncheng Shang dominated, right? I mean, probably since like even the first
more or
round,
less. Yeah, of
everyone
course,
was looking
there's
at
been
it.
yeah, I mean, Lorenzo having a great part of the year, but still cannot manage to win a title. Lost 5 finals this year between, of course, the 2 Italian challengers and now the main tour. Has been, very consistent. The players with most tour-level wins since grass season, 3 finals on each surface. Of course, the bronze medal, that was a final in the end. So yeah, I mean, because there still was kind of the bronze or nothing on the table. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, Djokovic lost
No,
2
sure.
of them.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, he still has, I don't know really about him, because of course he's playing very well. He's kind of maturing a lot, but at the same time he still has this tendency of being a little bit too passive when it matters in these kind of matches and in some moments of these matches. And yeah, he needs to overcome this if he really wants to have that quality jump, because you are like, he's winning a lot. Is he really far from that top 10? Well, yes, if he plays like this in these moments.
Yeah, still pretty far, I think, especially with his hardcourt game. Still not convinced that he's not going to be like, getting these sort of losses pretty regularly on the surface. But obviously this year is still, this summer especially is still quite
absolutely.
Good progress for Lorenzo. So
yeah, for sure.
Nothing wrong about getting to a final. He was actually 3-5 down against Chris O'Connell as well in the second round, right? So could have ended right there. So if we look at it like that, certainly it was quite fine. Actually, the other big story from Chengdu, I just remembered, Alibek Kakhmazov. His best challenger result now being his best ATP Tour result as well, which is just wild. I mean, in challengers, he's had the 2 semifinals, I think, Vuxi this year and Blois as well this year. One in May, one in June. And now he is also in the semifinals in Chengdu. He wins 5 matches without dropping a set. But I think if we remember his run from Astana last year, it's actually kind of similar. There are just very specific types of conditions where like Kakhmazov will be doing well.
Yeah.
It's anything fast. It's anything sleek. He hits super flat. And yes, sometimes his ball can be pretty nasty. I think Astana was much slower actually, but it was still very low bouncing. Whereas here, the combination was very good for him too. And to me, that was kind of maybe more the story of his run. But he still played pretty incredible tennis. He gets into the top 200 based on that. So it should allow him to make slams. Groundbreaking stuff for him, obviously. And also, just before I let you say something, I will say that actually Lorenzo Musetti making the year-end finals, that's not really happening. He would have to win At least
Yeah,
one
no,
ATP 1000. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to win, for example, Shanghai. I mean, I think Urkac was kind of in a similar position and still didn't manage to qualify directly, actually.
Yeah. Basically,
last
gotta
year.
win Shanghai or Paris. Like, without that, there's no conversation.
Yeah, something sock-like, let's say.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, yeah, of course, great hitter. So this kind of conditions suits him very well. Of course, Musetti then was able, of course, to bring something different on the table, which, of course, was a little bit too much to handle from him. But yeah, I mean, not to overlook the fact that he won all these matches in a row without dropping a set. The run has not been, for example, if you get to face Jari right now, is not that impossible for you to imagine to win. But yeah, still great to win all these matches. Of course, let's be also practical. You need this week also because you need your ranking to grow, and you need, of course, to believe actually you can belong to play in these circumstances. Of course, it's not a thing for now to to kind of have a stable present for him. But yeah, let's say if he can also use this experience to try to to just adjust something, and let's see where he can arrive. But just analyzing the week, even if without any kind of shocking win, he still had very, very solid one. It is a run, these 5 matches he won, that it's really worth of a very, very good challenger, for example, very, very good challenger title. So and probably even a weaker 250, yeah, so let's see where he can go. But I was impressed in some parts of this run, because still kind of looked unplayable at times. After winning the tie against Daniel, he was unplayable. And
did you see that? I mean, he did that to Taro at the net. Like,
exactly.
Sorry, mate. I mean, I played too well. And
it's been very fun to follow. Let's see.
Yeah, as Brazy says, CPI is court pace index, and when it comes to CPI, Shanghai will be registering faster than Bercy. Bercy might still be like, play pretty similarly because it's indoors, but I mean, Musetti even had a good round there, making the quarters. Gaston had that incredible win over Alcaraz and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, in Shanghai, that probably doesn't happen. Anyway, I think with that, we might move on to Laver Cup. Someone was right predicting this. I think it was Brazy like 10 minutes ago when he said, we all know Damien didn't watch 1 second of Laver Cup. LOL. And yes, that is very, very true. We also have John Silk on the screen, and he probably also didn't see even 1 second of Laver Cup action. But Mario, so which match did you watch?
I saw bits on social media. Go Mario, go.
I'm very sorry, guys. I watched the first one. The very first one.
The doubles.
So what was that?
Francisco Cerundolo against Casper Ruud.
Okay.
Is that even Laver Cup? That feels like, guys, I don't know, like
I also was on the sofa.
Laver Cup.
And yeah, I mean, there are some, it's not that I don't like it as a concept. There are some things I, probably would change a bit. And even if, everyone points out to me how players play seriously and everything, but there's something that I don't know.
I think they do play seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
It's like I play seriously when I'm there. If it was a Grand Slam final, that level of seriousness would be different. And a Grand Slam first round, or arguably even maybe a 250 final. I think it's a nice release for the players. I think you can see that they enjoy it. I probably, if you were citing examples of a player under pressure, I don't think you could use the Laver Cup in any way, shape, or form to say, look, this guy cracks under pressure, or this guy thrives under pressure.
No, I actually I don't think I agree with that. Like Zverev against Fritz, for example, from what people told me, from what I read, Like if the whole team kind of depends on you, I think there is quite a lot of pressure involved.
It's a
I mean,
different. It's a
it's just
different
not
way.
something that's going to change your career or anything like that. It's not something that, people are going to say, oh yeah, it's Alexander Zverev, the 2024 Laver Cup champion. They're still going to name your Grand Slam finals. They're still going to name your ATP thousands. But
I think the pressure though for Davis
pressure.
Cup is different. So there you're representing your country. You've got thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of fans kind of depending on you.
And the media pressure that you don't have.
I mean,
during
there's
Laver
no
Cup.
Team Europe fans, right? There's
At
no
least in
Team
Italy,
Europe
for
and the rest
example.
of the world.
That's the thing.
Like,
So on social media, I got a question from someone who's a Taylor Fritz fan from the UK. And he was fine.
I know him. I understood.
Gary,
He told me
he was nice. He was like, "I love the Laver Cup," and I was like, "Great. Who are you supporting?"
It's fine.
And,
it's fine.
And he didn't respond, by the way, because he's got this situation where he's a Taylor Fritz fan, but he's from Europe. So there's no anxiety there. Now, I'm sure he wants Taylor Fritz to win Taylor Fritz's matches, and he probably wants Team World to win. If in 2 years' time, and that's the thing as well, you can gravitate between the two sides. Maybe one Laver Cup, you want Europe to win, whereas in Davis Cup or, with your favorite player, it's not like this year, if you're a Djokovic fan, you want Djokovic to win, but next year you don't. So that's kind of part of the sort of confusion. I think people enjoy it. Do I think people have that inner anxiety, either as a fan or even as a player? Probably not that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, regarding the question from Brazy, actually, the one about the betting bros, I was added to like a group chat this week with like 30 people who mostly just talk about betting there. I just tune in when there's some tennis conversation, but basically someone was posting about betting on Laver Cup, and I just said, I mean, honestly, mate, you have a real problem if you're betting on Laver Cup. It's like friendlies in football,
I kind of got my
that's all I know about betting on Laver Cup.
Now that I'm thinking, of course I have fun watching tennis, because if not, I wouldn't, like it. But I don't really watch tennis to have fun. And that's why, for me, it's not that appealing as...
Why do you watch tennis then, if not to have fun?
Yeah, but there needs to be something, like, for example, some stories, career, all these things contribute to me having fun watching tennis.
Okay.
It's a bit different for me, even because I'm not that kind of of tennis fan who, for example, likes too much the spectacular brand of tennis. Not that I don't like it, but for me it's not essential. And this is also in the competition, also these teams, there's not something that really get me. For example, I wake up Sunday morning and I'm like, oh God, let's pray Europe manages to come back or something like this. It's so there is not a big motivation for me. There is, for example, Inter Milan football. I watch the football.
I mean, what makes
I don't know.
What makes sport interesting? That's kind of the question here in a way. What makes
I think it depends.
exciting?
There are two different types of tennis fans to me. I think there are different types of tennis fans, and you can actually do it with anything probably. It doesn't have to be tennis, it doesn't even have to be sport. But there are like people who try to analyze everything, and there are people who just kind of sit there and enjoy. I'm in the first, definitely, like with whichever interest. I'm in the first one. Can't really relate to the people who enjoy it, like that just basically are in the second bucket. And it's good and bad at the same time. Like there are pluses and cons. There are pros and cons to both positions. I think for me, Laver Cup is never really going to be a thing. But if someone enjoys it, go ahead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's totally fine. If you like basketball, great, no problem. But yeah, it's still. Listen, we hear it, how desperate the players are to transmit this message if it's a competition. I would prefer it if they just went, you know what? It's an exhibition. Let's enjoy it. Let's have fun. Let's make
Yeah, that's right.
hundreds of millions of euros.
I don't think so, John. You wouldn't be watching it anyway. So who would actually benefit from that?
Of course, they're unlikely to do it.
But who would actually benefit from a resolution like this? Like, who is the
nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to do it. I'm not saying they will.
No, but like, in your ideal scenario, who would benefit from this? Because I think the answer is nobody.
No, they're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it, but it is.
That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. I mean, I'm saying, okay, your scenario happens. Who benefits from that? Like, why would it be better? You still wouldn't watch it.
Even format, I don't think it's that perfect.
I'm not asking you if it can happen. I'm saying this scenario would literally not benefit anybody because you still wouldn't watch it. So why do you want that scenario if there's no gain from it?
I think it's transparency then, because what you're doing with this is you're not being honest with people. And I think therein lies half of the problem with this so-called competition. And if you're going to call it, you wouldn't have people betting on it. You would have people, you're being more transparent with your audience. You're going, listen, I don't know what I guess you can't bet on exhibitions, right? And don't forget that people
can. Okay. I think when there were these high profile matches, like Netflix Slam and stuff, I think you can, yeah.
Honestly, I don't, despite what you were talking about with Zverev and Fritz, I don't think the anxiety that he would have been feeling would have been the same if he was playing either Davis Cup or, more significantly than that, possibly individual tennis. Now, that doesn't mean that if you love Laver Cup, great, enjoy it. Go and enjoy it for what it's worth. Is it a competition? Is it competitive? It's trying to be, but you need all sorts of ingredients. I mean, take something like identity, for example, which obviously can involve if you're supporting a British player playing at Wimbledon, if you're from the UK, and a French player, and so on and so forth. I get that sort of identity that we have. Same with other sports as well, when it's your hometown or if it's a player, maybe it's someone that you even know. But you can't create out of nothing an identity from the rest of the world. So you're sort of kind of getting, you haven't got history either. Like, so I know people will talk about the golf example, which obviously inspires this concept with the Ryder Cup. It's been going for 100 years. I know you can see the emotion when the European players dramatically win, with Colin Montgomery, for example, the golfer, and I'm sure the US players feel the same. But don't forget, that's, by the way, the US, I think, against Europe rather than the rest of the world. So again, the only time I've ever seen rest of the world as a sporting concept is in exhibitions. In soccer, for example, to celebrate 100 years of the English Football League, they had the English Football League against the rest of the world. And it was a great time. We saw Diego Maradona on the center circle, juggling with a tennis ball, ironically, and he played for the rest of the world. And yet the rest of the world still lost, but it didn't matter. It was just an exhibition. It was just a celebration, if you like, of English soccer. And that's what the Laver Cup is. And I think we need to be honest about that. And that's probably what the fundamental.
No one would watch it in that format. Like, if your format got included, no one would watch it.
But it is what it is.
For me,
it's a much more successful event the way it is.
If you wanna be like that, then fine. But I also don't think we should have like the head-to-head thing. It just makes it worse. It makes it weirder. It's
I mean that's a completely different topic. But I mean, especially retroactively,
it's also part of the competition question, really, which is probably what it's about: competition and integrity. And I think we're sort of, the lines are extremely blurred. But if you love it, trust me, when Djokovic won his gold medal, because I can see some Olympics comments, we talked about him completing tennis and the emotion and the drive that he had to win that gold medal. That was the best part of 2 decades in the making. And the Olympics, and again, it comes back to this word history. If the Laver Cup maybe had been around for 100, 150 years, will it still be here in 100 and 150 years from now? Not sure. Will the Olympics still be here? We would imagine so.
Will you ever buy a ticket for the Laver Cup?
No, I'd never buy a ticket.
Me neither.
No. No. Would I cover it? Yeah, sure. Of course I would.
Absolutely.
And it's
but it's
entertaining.
kind of different, from the journalist perspective. Of course, I would be kind of, very happy to go there and cover it. But, I wouldn't be that, keen on spending all those money to go there. But simply because, exactly, for example, I really respect what has been said in the comments. Who said it? X or not, I just want to watch the best players in the world play each other. Fair,
Great.
it's fine, but it's not for me. For me, that is not important. I will even watch a Grand Slam final, for example, if Musetti Shang was, with their current ranking, was a Grand Slam final, I would be very passionate in watching that match. I don't care if it's not Alcaraz against Sinner or Djokovic. But it's different, of course. It depends on, for me, it's the occasion who makes also the match. And for me, Laver Cup is not an occasion.
By the way, we can talk about the tennis for a few minutes as well. I think it's...
Yeah, I mean, I think we've said everything.
I'm sorry, but I agree with Miles'
topic,
comment.
right?
I agree with Miles' comments. The same guys complaining about the length of the calendar got a 6 figures check. I agree with that. I'm sorry.
I mean, they had fun, at the Laver Cup.
They had fun.
Yeah,
I think that's the other thing. I think they did have fun. And, you could get injured playing Laver Cup, and of course you could criticize the decision to play the Laver, but you've got to stay fit, you've got to stay healthy, you've got to have a hit, you've got to, enjoy. And it's a great, as I say, a great release for these players to
also,
just
these
enjoy
are
them.
Players who can pay a fine and skip a mandatory tournament anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
As for the tennis, Europe won, and Alcaraz basically carried him to that village.
Alcaraz won.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a great...
Even if, of course, Zverev's win was, of course, superbly important, because if not, Alcaraz couldn't have, beaten Fritz and taken the trophy. But yeah, of course, Alcaraz has been the absolute MVP.
By the way, just regarding Alcaraz as well, I mean, this is also kind of good news for him and his upcoming indoor season, right?
Yeah, it is for sure.
Kind of.
It's of course a great surface for him. This kind of slow hard courts.
Okay.
It's very, very perfect for him, and I think this also helped him, of course. And then we'll see. Let's see, for example, on courts like in Turin. Of course, we saw some kind of good things, more or less, last year, but then when he played, for example, Djokovic in the semifinal, let's see. Of course, he has all what it takes to play well, on every kind of court and surface. I think he demonstrated it. But yeah, let's see. Maybe not having a strong, for example, North American summer. Maybe he's also mentally fresher to try to do this push in this part of the season.
Yeah, he also had a reasonably good sort of Davis Cup, didn't he, as well in Valencia. The captains, of course, are outgoing now. I'm just trying to think who's replacing them. We've got Yannick Noah, I think, coming in for Europe. And who's coming in for the US? Is it Agassi?
Yeah, Agassi and Noah.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Obviously, McEnroe, I saw his press conference afterwards where he was asked about his legacy. And he was quite funny in his response, in that I think he saw the champagne and he was looking forward to drinking it in celebration rather than sadness, if you like, by obviously not winning. And of course, this brings to a run. I think they had the last 2 wins, didn't they? The rest of the world, whereas now Europe have sort of wrenched back that. They didn't win the last 2, right? 2022 and 2023? No, I think it was 2. The year Nadal
one where they smashed them. Okay, so the first one was close.
First
okay,
4 for Europe, and then 2 for World.
Then 2 for World.
Yeah, but then again, sorry, another thing I wanted to say. For me, one thing that says it all is that let's remember last year's comment. It's very dependent on if it delivers. As a tournament and the competition. For example, Ashley was saying as she didn't like this US Open. Okay, but nobody says anything about the US Open, the tournaments, the formats. Of course, we know that there are some epic slams and less epic ones and everything. Last year, many people who this year are incredibly happy about it. Last year, where all this competition is dead, is going to be over very soon without, for example, Federer and Nadal, for example, is it doesn't have the same appeal. Then this year, we have a strong field, Alcaraz, but also the other, strong top 10 players and everything, and suddenly it's great again. So, I also, reflecting on it that much, wanted to try to have an opinion regardless of if the edition has delivered or not.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's clear that the Laver Cup is a successful event. As I said, not my cup of tea. But go ahead. I think in its current format as well, it's much more successful than changing it into like more exhibition style thing. And one more thing I will just say that personally, the only thing that I dislike about it really is that while it's happening, there's so many challenger events, and yet people prefer to watch that, despite they could be watching tennis with actual stakes and matches that make players progress. And matches
but don't say it on Twitter.
improve.
You're gonna be cooked if you use the no stakes. The no stakes.
I mean, that's if there was one word that would sort of sum up our or lots of my thoughts on it, it comes down to the word stakes. Where there will be steaks on offer, and I'm not talking about the tasty, meaty variety, although perhaps there will be some in Asia, is obviously we've got the Beijing 500 coming up. I'm going to have a look now for the draw as I take on the sort of as I've gate crashed this. Also, I may as well be.
I get mad after the first two sets when I see that there is a 10-point tiebreak, and I'm like, no.
Well, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's another reason why I don't think you could really have it in a head-to-head scenario. But anyway, I think we've aired our thoughts on that, and we'll all sort of have slightly different thoughts, and that is okay. Yannick Sinner playing Nicholas Jarry. So we have got the draw out already for Beijing. Okay, cool. Yannick, oh wow, there's some nice matches to look forward to here. Lehecka Martinez as well. Dimitrov against a qualified Rublev. Carreño Busta. I'm just looking at the draw now. Are we excited about Beijing? Because seeing that first round draw, I'm a little bit more excited than I probably was 30 seconds ago.
I mean, it just sounds like a Sinner Alcaraz final to me. Beijing has two big names, but the entire draw is a little weaker than Tokyo.
Yeah.
And it really sounds like a Sinner Alcaraz final.
I think we've got Holger Rune in Tokyo, right? I'm not talking about him. I'm just trying to get my Asian swing draw.
Yeah, but Rune is like the 6th seed or something like that.
Yeah. I'm just looking at Tokyo now. Let's just stick with Beijing. So basically, it's sort of a 2-horse race, is it? You think for Beijing?
I mean, this
Pretty
section
much
is kind of interesting. You were looking at Musetti, Shang. They can meet again. There's of course Bu, which we talked about before.
Medvedev I think we can at least talk about Medvedev, obviously number 3 seed in Beijing.
Now we have to talk about Den Ostrich first.
Who? What?
See the question from Nurlan?
David, if an ostrich runs after you and starts biting, would you?
That particular animal has a very long neck, so I think I would probably try to grab it by the neck.
Yeah, because I think running away is not going to work, right?
It is pretty fast, although maybe if I get it scared, it can hide its head in the sand. But whatever. Let's talk about Medvedev.
I don't know how would an ostrich perform in tennis. Would obviously have issues picking up a racket. All right, ostrich tick. Back to Daniel Medvedev anyway, who's been compared to an octopus in the past. I think, is it because his name means octopus in English? Is that where it comes from? Or
no, it's from Rublev calling him like that because his name is like bear.
That's right. Yes, his name is Bear. Yes, I knew it was an animal. So we've got Medi Bear, haven't we? And then we've also got the octopus thing. Anyway, I think Medvedev, we are at a period now, 18 months without a title. Am I right? 17 months since Rome?
Yeah.
Rome, yeah.
Yeah. several finals in that midst, of course.
So 16, I guess, but yeah, it doesn't matter really.
Yeah, 16 months. I thought you were going to say 16 finals. I was going to say I knew it'd been many, but it hadn't been that many, including in Beijing a year ago, right?
Yeah. The match that was on the top 7.
I know, the match of the year, blah, 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 blah. We won't be doing 7 matches of the year, not because there haven't been 7 minutes. It's just a lot of work for me. So
I cannot even name 2. No, I'm kidding, but I really can't remember that many.
I mean, you'd have to like look through the list of tournaments, to be honest. I mean, Changdu is an obvious one.
No, I'm talking about the criteria that have been used, in the past for our matches.
You mean last year?
I mean, it's a mixture of criteria, isn't it? But it's obviously drama, excitement, stakes once again, and I guess when we include a Laver Cup match in our match of the year, then we will have moved on to another level. But I can't think of too many on the men's side because even the Aussie Open final, don't know, it just felt a bit weird that final, which was of course between Medvedev.
I don't think it will be in the top 5. Yeah.
No, it just felt a bit weird, but maybe that was because I was phenomenally tired at the end of the 2-week tournament. I remember, in terms of time zones, etc., which of course can affect our viewing thoughts. But I think Medvedev really, I don't know. We need a title sometime soon, don't we? On a hard court.
Well, probably not in Beijing.
We should, but I don't know. It's a bit difficult. His draw is not impossible, of course. I mean, until the semifinals. But yeah, I mean, he needs to improve his level because.
Is he in Sinner's half?
No, Alcaraz.
Okay.
Basically, Zverev withdrawing meant that he was in either a Sinner or Alcaraz halves. Instead, if Zverev was here, he would have been either in Sinner's or in Zverev's half. So,
is Zverev's injury bad? Because I saw that he's not in the Davis Cup team for Germany as well for the final.
No, I mean he just pulled out because of Laver Cup. Like he literally stayed a bit longer in Europe. That's
okay.
That's the whole story.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an injury. Okay.
Davis also Germany only nominated 4 players, so they can always add them later on.
Yeah, probably the thing was more about Deminor. It's kind of a tricky situation his own. It was meant to be his best year so far. I mean, it still would kind of be, but he was in a great position at some point of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more Beijing thoughts before I have a quick look at the draw in Tokyo?
I don't know. For me, Tokyo is way more appealing, I have to say.
Alcaraz and Sinner.
Let's say that Rublev Musetti quarter can be interesting one. To see who comes out from that. There can be
who loses to Sinner, you mean?
Yeah, I mean that watching without caring that much about what happens next.
Yeah, we might get the Shang Musetti Chengdu round 2 rematch, Chengdu final rematch as well in the second round here. Of course, Shang Bu, 2 of the 3 Chinese top 100 guys right now in the opener. That's good too.
Where is it that Nishioka and Cilic are playing? In which country are they?
Nishikori and Cilic, and in Tokyo, because
Tokyo.
Nishikori is Japanese and he would rather play in Japan than China.
Yeah, of course. And of course, that is a Grand Slam final rematch, right?
It is.
Yeah.
16th match between them, but first since 2018.
Oh, wow. And of course, both have had on various spells away from the tour. So that's something exciting. Fingers crossed that Cilic decides to keep going. I think physically he's okay, but of course he might decide to have a last-minute withdrawal. But fingers crossed.
I checked, and last year they gave Hurkacz. The Hurkacz Zhang was the only start in Tokyo that was even one day later because of Hurkacz winning Shanghai. So if they decide to do the same for Cilic here, I think he should play. I mean, 2 days of rest would be really good. Yeah. If he only gets 1, who knows?
Cool. All right. Any other Tokyo thoughts? I agree in that with Marion that it's probably a little bit more intriguing. Having said that, imagine that we had Sinner in one and Alcaraz in the other. Maybe we'd be a bit concerned about having a one-horse
better
race.
this way.
Yeah.
It's better this way for me because you have like in one of them you have kind of that thing that there are the top 5 players in there, and so maybe the final part of the tournament can be appealing, even if it's still a 500, so it's not going to change a lot, but still the rivalry that goes on. And here there's a little bit more uncertainty about who's gonna win, and the draw looks very, very competitive, a lot of great first round matches. So
I think in that case, only the Sinner tournament would be really affected, because Alcaraz to me isn't at that sort of like reliability level this year. Like I wouldn't think that him being in one of these events by himself is just guaranteed title. Whereas for Yannick, it's kind of like that this year. But of course, I don't know. He might also have some motivation issues, honestly, going into the rest of the year. Like, besides the ATP finals and the Davis Cup finals, there's really not that much for him to chase. Like, number one is more or less secured. Of course, not yet, but like with his points that he's going to grab, it's more or less secured.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this very bold prediction. Well, it's not bold at all, but I think an American player will win Tokyo.
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be either Fritz, Shelton, or Tiafoe.
Yeah, it's not super bold.
It's not.
I'm kind of interested to see. There's 2 or 3 players on tour right now, and they sort of go from one disaster to another. Holger Rune is one of them, and Stefanos Tsitsipas is another. Both are involved in this tournament. If one is going to turn the corner here, turning the corner meaning semi-finals or final, which one of Tsitsipas or Rune do you have more faith in right now?
I like the Tsitsipas draw a little bit more. And that's the thing, I guess. But I know he's like 11-9 on hard courts this year or something like that. I mean, Ruud has a tougher round one to me, because even if Mikkelsen, he's pretty dangerous, but like he's not exactly the type of opponents that have been troubling Tsitsipas recently. Like, he won't go after the backhand that much, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But Ruud, he's playing Thompson right away. Lost to him in hard courts this year already. Then Cilic or Nishikori. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, both could pretty much waltz into the semifinals as well. Why not? But I don't think they're gonna like be massive title contenders here.
Honestly,
Mario, serious question: how did Tabilo do in Laver Cup?
I mean, played one match.
Okay, let's say.
I think he could cause Rune a few troubles.
2 tie breaks against Dimitrov. Tabilo actually hasn't won a match since like 2 months or something like that, like 6 match losing streak. But he was horrible in Winston-Salem. He was horrible at the US Open.
He was good in Canada.
I mean, Davis Cup. Also, Davis Cup, he lost 3 matches. He lost to Kovalik on hard courts. He lost to Hanfmann on hard courts. So they're both like really desperate for a win.
Yes, but I'm not. It's difficult to call because there's a bit of unpredictability, around them, and also Rune. Let's see if he's able to turn the tables quickly. He can do it, but yeah, nothing is really guaranteed right now. So
this is a Wednesday to Tuesday tournament.
Probably, Felix can look at his draw with a good look.
Tokyo is Wednesday to Tuesday. Beijing is Thursday to Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. Just keep
so maybe
it all easy.
Oger Aliassime can look at the draw with some positive.
I mean, we are entering Felix's part of the year, albeit it's
not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. I know. Yeah. Then Felix wakes up, makes a couple of indoor finals, and then goes back into hibernation.
Davis Cup, he like totally won it for Canada. I mean, qualified Canada alongside Chapo. So
yeah.
Already started, I suppose.
Yeah, he's coming out of hibernation. Let's say that at least. All right, cool. I do want to say one more thing after we've had. I think we're done Tokyo and Beijing. We're all Damien's bold Vance-like prediction of an American winning, and also
yes, but not the American we all want.
I didn't mention Brandon Nakashima. I was thinking about it. I was considering it.
No,
I didn't.
the American Mario.
No, you Mario. No, that American is not winning. Definitely not.
Which one? Who?
Tommy Paul.
Oh, Tommy Paul. Okay.
I was thinking. Paul and Nakashima were the two I was thinking of saying, but I mean, if we get to like 4 players, then it's really not bold anymore. So I stuck to just 3, you know.
Yeah. All right. I do want to have one more word on a player who has retired today, Mario. I saw you tweeting and Damien as well. And I think Damien shared the amazing trick shot that he did against Tsitsipas. You know what? When I saw that, when I saw that trick shot, by the way, do you know what the first thing I thought, Damien? I just had that emotional. Oh, I wish it could be April again. Either April this year, last year, or next year. I assume it's going to be in April, but of course, who knows which part of the calendar it will be in.
Second week of Miami, I would assume, because like Challenger 175s are only in the second week of the thousands. So I would think late March, probably.
Okay. I hope I can.
Basically 1 week earlier than it was in 2024.
I even thought he could have replaced Cagliari.
It could be.
I heard
maybe.
about it, so probably it's the second week on Madrid. But I have to check.
If it replaces Cagliari, then second week of Madrid. If it's just standalone 6 Challenger 175, then second week of Miami, I think. But I don't think we have the confirmation of that yet.
Some words on Cuevas' retirement as of today, Mario?
Well, he was a great one to watch. Actually, I remember at that point that against Tsitsipas is one moment that I really remember where I was and what I was doing. Because I was doing something kind of special, so that's also why I remember. But it's of course part of my I grew up with tennis, and Cuevas was one of these players who was very present at that moment. So it's really, let's say a sad moment, even if, of course, we all knew that, Cuevas was basically already kind of retired. But yet still, it's never nice. It's never pleasant to see a player officially calling it a retirement. And it was a great shot maker also. A lot of nice memories I have. So let's just hope he can stick around tennis.
I like the statement too, Mario. I mean, I know a lot of these are crafted and there's PR people involved, but either way, some statements are better than others, and this one was a nice one.
It's what I Cuevas at this stage would have, like PR
probably
guys and
there's
stuff.
A good chance there's a good chance he doesn't. Yeah.
I think he probably wrote it by himself. But I was always rooting for him to have like one big Roland Garros run. I think that's kind of the thing that was missing from his career. All these amazing clay court results. 4 times I think he lost in the third round. 1 time I thought he had a real shot at Thomas Berdych there. Didn't actually pan out, but I think next round he would have played Federer or something like that, or someone really tough anyway. Otherwise, definitely someone super fun to watch with all the clay court magic. Not sometimes even producing on hard courts, 15 challenger titles, I think. So that's quite huge for me too. And as Mario said, I mean, this year he was kind of a tennis tourist. He played Australia, he played the US Open.
I mean, I'm a tennis tourist, Damien, but I'm not sure of the same variety.
Yeah, not the same. I mean, he got a lot of money, first of all. That's the big difference for playing these 2 events. The only thing I was hoping for was that he was going to retire in Montevideo. There's the
I saw you tweet about that. Why not?
I don't know. I mean, this post at least doesn't make it seem like it. Maybe, my hypothesis is that basically, well, first of all, we don't have official confirmation that he won't play Montevideo, but this post seems like he won't. And second of all, I just think that with how he looked in Australia and the US Open, like it would take some real work for him to get competitive there. Like I think the way he played against Zapieri in Australia, and then I think Luca Van Asch at the US Open, okay, pretty tough draws. But I don't think he would have been competitive in Montevideo. So maybe he just doesn't want to show up and lose 6-1, 6-1. I don't know. But it would have been a very fitting place, obviously, for him to retire at. So I was always thinking that, okay, Cuevas hasn't officially announced it, so probably Montevideo. But, well, we'll see. That's why I said
you probably just mentioned when Montevideo is, but I probably missed it. When is it?
Like October, November,
so
later this year.
Would be perfect, but that's sort of in the time frame. Unless he's like in a situation where he's really struggling physically.
Maybe he'll do it. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he said he's not going.
I know, right? But that statement doesn't say.
It doesn't suggest that he will play. Yeah.
No. I think if he was hoping to play, I think he would have held off a few more weeks before making the statement and then said, by the way, Montevideo is going to be my last tournament.
Could play with his brother as well. Like, that would be very fun as well if he just, maybe he could play, dubs with his brother there. I mean, I think his brother is injured right now, actually. But anyway, like, yeah, if they had an appearance there, that would be super fun too. I don't know. But we'll see. I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, Montevideo is like November, I think.
It's a lot of funny comments in the chat, by the way, about the Six Kings, but also, Damien, you've got another question about Portugal with me being the best moment of your life.
Oh, wow. I mean, it was fun for sure. I don't know if Porto or Estoril. Probably Estoril was a bit more fun, but I mean, both visits were okay. And was it one of the best moments of my life?
The late night chicken in Cascais.
Huh?
I hope
the late night chicken in Cascais, Damien.
Late night chickening, yeah, that was not one of the best experiences of my life. So yeah,
sorry, Mario,
not in the top 10.
Go on, Mario.
No, I was saying I hope for him that it won't be like that at the end of his life.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, I'd be concerned if it is now.
Yeah.
Anyway, some avatar comments. Obviously, they're talking about your main pick, Damien, but there's also this background pick.
Yeah, I haven't changed it in like 5 years, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. I don't know what to change it to. I have a different pick on WhatsApp, I think, but I don't know if it's better. Anyway, who cares? I mean, I just don't really give a damn. So
yeah. All right. Pablo Cuevas, tick. Laver Cup, tick. Asian swing, both past and future, tick. I think that means ATP Weekly also, tick. Mario, thank you very much.
Thank you as always.
Damien and his avatar, and what else could there be? And his Portugal experiences as well, tick. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and everybody else, the drill. Oh, I didn't give you a chance to say bye, but Damien, you don't normally say bye anyway. I mean, I knew when I say Mario, give us a goodbye, Mario gives us a ciao. Ciao. Jumps on his.
I mean, if you said Damien give us a bye, then I would have said bye. Maybe I would have waved my hand.
See out the show in Polish. Just say some random stuff to say goodbye in Polish.
Dzięki za uwagę. Do zobaczenia.
Yep, and I echo those sentiments.
Buona serata.
Yeah. Goodbye. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.